And what is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Inland Sports Show here on a Wednesday night, getting you ready for the semifinals of the CIF Southern Section football playoffs. We'll talk some college football. We'll talk some college basketball. We also got some great interviews coming up a little bit later in the show. We got San Jacinto head football coach Aric Galliano after two dramatic playoff wins in overtime in the first round and the quarterfinals to get to the semifinals in Division 4. We'll talk to Coach Galliano in a moment. Also, Roosevelt girls flag football, your CIF Southern Section Division 3 champions of the world. They will join us on the show as well. Head coach Jen Constable has done it again. Another great team at Roosevelt. This year, they get the title, so we're going to check in with the Mustangs a little bit later in the show. We're going to mix things up a little bit on this one. We're going to jump right into our high school football weekly preview, I guess you could call it, as we go into the semifinals. We'll talk some high school football right now and college football and college hoops before we get to our interview. So, with all that said, you might have seen it on social media already. If you haven't, well, here it is. Our final Bass Top 25 poll of the season. It's going to look like this. Here it is. Not a lot of change going into the semifinal round. Not a lot of teams playing at this point. In fact, we'll talk about the semifinal games in a moment, but there's 9 games involving Inland Empire teams in the semifinals. But top heavy with the Big West Conference schools at the top. Top 4 teams. Rancho Cucamonga checks in at 5, followed by Norco, another Big West Conference team at 6. A little bit of change here. We put Beaumont up to 7. Yes, I know Cajon beat Beaumont head-to-head, but when you factor in the entire season, Beaumont is going to finish at 7, Aquinas at 8. San Jacinto, who is still playing, they come in at number 9. San Jacinto lost to Beaumont, but they did beat Cajon, but they lost to Aquinas. So 7 through 10 is a little muddy. It's hard to get that part, completely where it makes sense, I guess you would say. But yeah, there's our top 10. On the other side, Orange Vista climbs high as 11. That's where they will finish on our Bass Top 25 this season. Murrieta Mesa, your Big West lower champion, they will finish in at number 12, followed by Great Oak. Also from the Big West, Patriot, your River Valley League champion. Summit, your Sunkiss League champion, followed by Ramona, King, Roosevelt, who's on a run in Division 6 right now, also from the Big West. Norte Vista, Liberty, Etowanda, Poly, your Sunbelt League champion, Moreno Valley, Inland Valley champ, Vista del Lago from the Ivy League, and Tockwitz from the Mountain Pass. So that's how the Bass Top 25 will look as we close out the high school football season, because, there's only a handful of teams on this list still playing. This will be our final top 25 of the year. So it wasn't always perfect. We tried to come close. There were a couple surprises, I would say, this season. The return of Norco. I know, they're officially 1-9, but we all know how good Norco was this season. Patriot winning the River Valley League. That was impressive, beating some good Ramona and Norte Vista teams to win that league championship. Too bad for the Warriors. They lost against Palm Desert in the previous round of the playoffs. Other than that, everyone was kind of who we thought they were going to be. But yeah, I would say of those teams on this list, those were the 2 biggest surprises, at least for me, was Norco. I knew they were going to be better under Coach Barledge. I didn't know how much better they were going to be this season, but they were a lot better. So Norco and Patriot, pleasant surprises, and how good, not they were good, but how good they were this season. So our final Bass Top 25 of the year. We've had a lot of fun doing it all season long. Thank you guys for giving it likes and sharing it on social media. We would appreciate it. Again, it's not perfect. This is not an exact science, but we do try to factor in head-to-head matchups the entire season. But also, what are you doing lately, right? Did you make a playoff run? Did you come on strong at the end? I know a lot of teams got a lot different after week 5 when guys became eligible to transfer. So there's a lot of things to consider. Hopefully we got close to being right. There were some surprises this year, but it was a lot of fun. So thank you for following along. All right, the number 1 team in the rankings all season long. In fact, I've been doing high school football in the IE since 2011, and I don't know if there was a week when they were not the number 1 team. That's the Centennial Huskies, and they've got a huge game this week. Division I semifinal, Centennial at home against Mater Dei. It's our Ken's Sporting Goods must-see game. The Monarchs are coming out to the IE to take on the mighty Huskies, and this will be a rematch from earlier this season. They've had so many classic battles, especially in the playoffs, in the Open Division or the Pac-5 or Division 1, whatever division they would call it that season. They've had some battles in the playoffs, and a lot of them in the semifinal round. That's just kind of how it works out. So Centennial and Mater Dei are Ken Sporting Goods must-see game. Now, if you rewind to earlier this season, yes, they met in the non-league play. It was tied at 36. Mater Dei had the football. They turned it over to Dominic Catalano and that Centennial offense, and they would punch in the go-ahead score. You can see with about 2.5 minutes to play in the ball game. So Centennial takes the lead 43-36. There's another look at the touchdown there. So they grab the touchdown lead, but that's still a lot of time for Mater Dei. So Mater Dei, the Monarchs offense, they get back out on the field looking to take a deep shot. And check out, it's going to be Jaden Walk Green, the interception there to end it. Centennial wins 43-36, beating Mater Dei. And now Centennial is one win away from reaching the Division I championship game. But that one win would be a huge one. It's hard to beat the same team twice in one season, but Centennial is going to have to do exactly that. They're going to have to beat Mater Dei, but the good news is they are at home again, so good luck to Matt Logan and the Huskies. You know we're pulling for you, man. Nobody loves the 10 more than this guy, so let's go Centennial, get to that championship game. So they got Mater Dei in this round. As we know, St. John Bosco is out. Division I is wide open. Who knows who's going to win it? Why not Centennial? So good luck to the Huskies. Let's take a look at all of the semifinal games involving our local teams here in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. We talked about Centennial in Division I taking on Mater Dei. In Division II, the top seed, Murrieta Valley, will take on Los Alamitos. The Nighthawks, the top seed, trying to get back to the championship game like they did last year in Division II. Division IV, San Jacinto will be on the road at Villa Park after back-to-back victories in overtime in the first two rounds in Division 4. Division 6, Roosevelt. The Mustangs making a run in D6. They are at home in the Vale, taking on St. Pius, St. Matthias in Division 6. In Division 9, we got Ramona. Ram High, man. They play their best football in the playoffs. Ken Mashinsky and the Rams will be at home against Hesperia. In Division 10, we could have an all-local Division 10 championship game. We've got Tockwitz taking on Santa Monica. They are at home in Hemet. And we've got Hillcrest at home against Pacific in Riverside. That game will be at Norta Vista High School. So if Hillcrest and Tockwitz win, Division 10 championship game is going to be a lot of fun. In Division 11, Valley View making a run. The Eags will take on South Pasadena. And finally, in Division 14, A.B. Miller will be on the road at South El Monte. Strangely enough, South El Monte is going to have to beat back-to-back Mountain Valley League schools. In the previous round, they beat Indian Springs in a nasty, muddy game out there. Well, now they're going to have to beat A.B. Miller, back-to-back MVL squads in Division 14. So that's the semifinal games involving teams in the Inland Sports Show coverage area. Good luck to all of them in the semifinal round. The goal is to be practicing the week of Thanksgiving, and that is right around the corner now. That is next week. So good luck to our teams here in the semifinals. Little college football. RCC wrapping up their season in the Southern California Bowl, taking on Fullerton College. It was on Monday night. Yeah, Monday Night Football with the Hornets and the Tigers, and it was wet on that great turf out there at Fullerton College. Fullerton got out to a lead 28-10. RCC trying to battle back in this one. Brian Wilson threw for a touchdown, ran for that touchdown there. Jared Doolittle also played. He threw for a touchdown. In fact, RCC racked up more than 400 yards of total offense in this game despite the wet weather and the rain. But it's Fullerton winning this one 45-30. So head coach Kevin Kraft closes out his first season as the head coach at RCC with an overall record of 7-8. and 4. Again, the final score 45-30 in this one. The Tigers hoping to get back to the Southern California playoffs next season. But it was a lot of fun covering the Tigers this year. They had a lot of great players, strong season, and just awesome to be out there with Riverside TV covering all of their home games. All right, and finally, let's talk some college basketball. Just last night, we had the Crosstown Showdown between California Baptist University and UC Riverside. Well, it was the Lancers and that guy, Dominique Daniels Jr., pulling off the victory. Dominique Daniels Jr. dropped 25 points and an impressive, convincing victory for CBU, 80-57, the final score against the Highlanders. So they are now in the Division I area. CBU has won 5 of the 7 matchups against the Highlanders. There's Gus Arginal, the head coach for UC Riverside, the former head coach at Cal State San Bernardino. In fact, he had a great run with CSUSB with the Coyotes, 50 victories in 2 seasons at Cal State, made a deep run in the playoffs. Now the head coach at UCR. The Highlanders 2-3 on the season. Coach Arginal brought over Andrew Henderson from Cal State San Bernardino. He's off to a very good start for the Highlanders. Came into the game against CBU averaging 17 points per game. So UCR, they've got some talent. They've got, I call them a big 3. 3 of their guys averaging 15 points or more on the season. But they played a CBU team that was fired up in front of a huge crowd at the Fowler Event Center. In fact, check it out. This was the scene last night, Tuesday night at the Fowler Event Center. Check out some highlights on ESPN.
Lancers on a run out.
Jackson up and in for Jaden Jackson plus the foul. Drives into around the elbow over to Indong. Hands it off to Daniels. Top of the key 3 is good for Dominique. Jackson to Malcolm, cutting back door. Get out of the way. Malcolm, the big time jam. 15. Doms, shot no good. Offensive rebound. Grimes, and putback is good.
If it's not really what you do, if that makes sense, Pep.
Daniels for 3. That one is
good. Yeah, that was Dominique Daniels Jr. with the big 3 there. He had 25 points in the game to lead all scores. Huge win in front of a huge crowd out there at CBU for the Lancers. All right, we're going to take our first break of the show. When we come back, we'll talk more high school football, of course. We're going to check in with the Jack, head coach Aric Galliano out at San Jacinto. The Tigers in the Division IV semifinals. They'll be on the road at Villa Park following back-to-back overtime playoff victories. Coach Galliano next here on the Inland Sports Show right after this.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student-athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
As a kid that he literally needed belief. He wasn't someone that was maybe as talented as people thought his brother was. He wasn't getting the same shine and the same attention, and he just needed the right place to bring it out. Everyone has different aspects that they need to work on, right? For some kids, they need to get bigger. For some kids, they need to get their academics up. For some kids, it's just overall maturity. But whatever it is, we're gonna bridge that gap. We're gonna get those gaps sewn up now so we can get you ready for when the opportunity does come, you're ready to meet the moment. And that's what development should be. I love to work with a kid who a lot of people don't see it right away. Maybe he just needs a little bit of work. Maybe he needs a little bit of belief. Once you put him in the right setting, put him under a barbell, you put him in the right classroom, and they shine, you know? And that's what development is all about. It's not about where these kids are right now. It's about where they're going and how you as a coach can help them get there. I love doing that. It's the best part of my job.
All right, welcome back to the Inland Sports Show, everybody. I'm Pep Fernandez. If you've made it this far into the show, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel if you haven't done so already. We love bringing you a lot of high school football throughout the season. Sad to see it coming to a close, but it's been a great season. It's been a lot of fun. We got a bunch of teams in the semifinals, including the San Jacinto Tigers. The Jack, if you have not been following, getting playoff victories in overtime in the first round and the quarterfinals to reach Division IV semis. Here's how it looked in the quarterfinal round at home against the top seed Charter Oak. It's our Bass Athletics play of the week.
Inland Sports.
That's because this game would go to triple overtime. San Jacinto down 27-21. They get their shot in OT. They score the touchdown. They tie the game at 27. In triple overtime, you don't kick. You have to go for two. Charter Oak did not get their two-point conversion after their touchdown in triple overtime, but San Jacinto does. And that is it. That is ball game. The Jack wins 29-27, the final score. In the previous week, they beat Bishop Diego in overtime up in Santa Barbara. So back-to-back overtime wins to send the Tigers to the Division IV semifinal. Another dramatic finish. Again, the Bass Athletics play of the week for San Jacinto. So we caught up with Tigers head coach Aric Galliano, who's always been so generous with his time to do the Inland Sports Show, especially on a busy week, getting ready for a playoff game. We talked about these dramatic wins and what San Jacinto is doing well right now. Man, the Tigers have a real shot of winning the whole thing in Division IV. Here's Coach Galliano talking about the team this season, this playoff run, and the semifinal game on the road at Villa Park. Here is Coach Galliano.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, the head coach of the San Jacinto Tigers, who are going to the CIF Southern Section Division IV semifinals. It is Aric Galliano. And Coach, congratulations on a dramatic win against top seed Charter Oak in the quarterfinals. But man, I don't know if you're getting more gray hairs. I've been stressed out for you guys the last couple of rounds, all these overtime games. And I mean, what do you think it says about your team that you're able to win these close games in OT?
There's no quitting us, and that's one thing that they've done a great job of always believing. You know, the first playoff game they came in, and they're kicking a PAT to win it with 8 seconds left. And we ended up blocking that thing and then going into overtime and winning it. And then this past week, just continuing to fight. There's no quitting the kids, which is awesome.
Yeah, I was just looking back at that Bishop Diego game and, of course, the Charter Oak game that you just had in the quarterfinals. I'm like, man, these guys, when it matters the most, they find a way to win. I mean, can you coach that, or your players just wired that way? Like, how does that happen?
A lot of the kids that are making plays for us are kids that were with us in 2022 when we made that deep run in 2022. So, they're very hungry of trying to get back and not wanting their season to end. And so they've been pushing themselves hard throughout the offseason and through this season to get ready for this point. And, I was relieved at the end of that one. I've never been a part of something like that. And, it's a testament to them, to the hard work that they put in, the outcomes that are happening.
Coach, do you see similarities between the CIF championship team and this team? I don't know if there's something intangible that you can point to, like great leadership or a strong senior class. I know you got some young guys out there making plays too, but I mean, is there anything you can point towards that kind of have the same similarities from that championship season?
We got playmakers, and just in different positions. We had Dylan Gresham and Vincent Holmes. We have Deshaun Davis and Jordan Bernard. Yeah. Quarterback is doing a great job. He's understanding the system. He's new to our system. Well, first and foremost, both teams, we got to be able to run the football. And then both teams, we've been playing pretty good defense. In 2022, we did as well. And, currently right now we're playing pretty good defense. And, I think that's the key to winning a championship is playing good defense.
Coach, when you look at the season as a whole, I mean, has it been, I don't know if emotional is the correct word, but I feel like there's just so many ups and downs. I mean, starting with Beaumont and then beating Cajon, and then you get to league play, and then now 2 crazy overtime games to start the playoffs. I mean, Again, I feel like there's just been so much already bottled up in this season that you guys have already experienced.
Yeah, I think that, us putting the non-league together is proving it right now of how tough our non-league was. And, facing Beaumont, Cajon, Aquinas, Rancho Verde, Yorba Linda, playing those teams have gotten us ready to this point. We've seen multiple offenses, multiple defenses. So I think we're pretty prepared of what we're going to get from each team, because we've seen a lot of it, from a bunch of different schemes, and that's how we scheduled it, and, trying to get our kids prepared for this point.
Coach, at this point of the playoffs, when you get to the semifinals, especially in Division 4, I mean, there's so many good teams in Division 4. I mean, is the room for error just, if you make a mistake, like, the other team's good enough, they're going to capitalize on it. Like, how I don't say perfect, but how well do you guys have to play, just to, whatever opponent it is, just to win and advance at this point of the season?
It's huge. We make a mistake in coverage, and, it costs us, them tying the game. A late ball thrown, is an interception, and just, it's us, trying to get the fine details of what we're doing, and focusing in on what we're doing and how we're going to attack different teams, both offensively, defensively, and special teams. The details matter at this point in the game. It's not so much the physicality, it's more the mental aspect right now of getting kids healthy, and making sure they understand the game plan going forward.
All right, Coach, I was looking at the forecast again. Of course, everybody knows that quarterfinal round soaked all the games, and some of those games were actually on real grass, and they were real messy. But I'm looking at the forecast for Orange County for this Friday. At least currently right now, it says 80% chance of rain.
Yep.
So you might have another wet one. Not that it favors you or them or anything, but does it change the way you guys prepare or practice, or the way you guys want to execute on Friday?
I think it also plays. I think it plays a huge part, in having to get the kids understand the wet ball and ball security and doing all those things, and it affects the pass game tremendously. A lot of teams. I'm really good friends with the guys at La Habra, and he's thrown the ball 15, 20 times, and I think he said he threw it 4 or 5 times this past week against Cathedral. And so it adjusts your game plan. And I think from what I've seen, I'm hoping it's before the game. But either way, we're gonna attack with what we need to attack, and we'll practice those scenarios in practice this week, and try to get as much prepared as we can to face a really good Villa Park team.
Yeah, I was looking at them a little bit. Obviously, very good to be in the D4 semifinals. You do have one common opponent in Yorba Linda. Without giving away all your secrets, obviously, what do you think, besides the weather, what do you think is key to getting a win against Villa Park in the semis?
Our biggest thing, we've struggled coming out of the second half the last 2 weeks. And so that's one of the big things that I'm focusing on this week, of, being more consistent in the second half, coming out with the same fire we had in the beginning of the games, and trying to continue that for all 4 quarters. The first 2 rounds we've gotten out fast. We've kind of been stagnant, the second or the third and fourth quarter, and then picking it back up in overtime. But, trying to keep that fire going, that third and fourth quarter, is what I'm trying to get these kids to get to this week. And, let's play 4 full quarters of San Jacinto football, and let's see where it lies.
Do you feel like you guys have done that this year, or are you still waiting for that first game where you feel like, man, we got it done tonight for, like you said, all 4 quarters?
I think the Cajon game was, our first one where we saw, we played, really good complementary football, offense, defense, and special teams. And we've done pretty good, in the playoff, playing complementary football, but we've hit a lull the past 2 weeks offensively of, not sustaining drives when we need to, and not putting up any points in the third or fourth quarter, and we've been, holding on by the skin of our teeth, and, getting into overtime because, we haven't been able to put points up. The defense has been playing really great, and, I call the offense, and so I'm a little frustrated with, leaving them out there too much and putting it on their shoulders, where we can own some of it and hopefully not get to those points if we can put some points up in the third and fourth quarter.
Yeah, it'd be a lot less stress in your life, right? If you can get some points in the second half.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, Coach, congratulations on reaching the semifinals. Obviously, a big game against Villa Park in Division 4. Appreciate it. Congrats on those overtime wins. Like I said, man, it's been crazy. I'm sure it's been emotional for you as well. And another big one coming up in what could be a very wet Friday as well. Thank you so much, Coach.
Awesome. I appreciate everything you do, Pep. And, hopefully we get this thing done and we'll see how it goes. They've done a great job of, I think this is the first year the Division 4, the competition, the competitive equity in Division 4, I think is huge. Most of the game, or majority of all the games, have been really close. I think this is the first year that I've seen, since doing this, that it's been, extremely competitive. So, it's been fun. But I just want to thank you for all your support.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback off that too, just real quick. I mean, I don't say usually, but a lot of the times in the playoffs, you don't have close games in the first round. You might have to wait to the quarterfinals or maybe even the semifinals to see some good games. And man, even those first round games have been incredible, especially in Division 4. So, Coach, listen, congratulations on the run so far. Let's keep it going. Nobody loves the Jack more than this guy. So good luck against Villa Park this week.
Awesome, Pep. I appreciate it. Go Tigers.
You got it. Aric Galliano, the head football coach for San Jacinto, here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
Coach Galliano, such a good dude, always making time for the Inland Sports Show. We appreciate it. Go Tigers, man. Try to get a big win at Villa Park and get to the Division 4 championship game. All right, another quick high school football note. This is some good news I want to share that we thought last week might be our final Friday night pep rally on Riverside TV, the only television high school football show in the IE. In fact, it might be the only one. I don't want to say Southern California because I know Santa Barbara does a good job. The show out in Palm Springs at the ABC affiliate, San Diego does. But in the IE, or the greater LA area, Orange County, we're the only Friday night high school football show. Well, it's back, man. We're going to do one more round. We got Ramona in the D9 semis. We got Hillcrest in the Division 10 semis. And we got, all those other games: Centennial, Murrieta Valley, San Jacinto, Roosevelt, Valley View. Who am I missing? Talkwitz. I don't want to leave anybody out. But we will be back for at least one more Friday night pep rally on Riverside TV. So I hope you'll join us live at 11 p.m. Friday night on Riverside TV. The Riverside TV game of the week is going to be the Hillcrest game. Hillcrest taking on Pacifica from Garden Grove. That's the Riverside TV game of the week. And then Friday night at 11, we'll break it all down, all your scores, some highlights as well, and we'll preview the championship round Friday night on the pep rally on Riverside TV. All right, one more quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to check in with the CIF Southern Section Division 3 Girls Flag Football Champions, Roosevelt, next here on the Inland Sports Show.
The Inland Sports Show is brought to you by Kin Sporting Goods in Norco, #1 in the Inland Empire for team uniforms, sports equipment, and Letterman's jackets. Bass Athletics in Corona, driven by passion and hard work, Bass Athletics helps student athletes push their limits, compete with heart, and build the discipline to succeed in sports, school, and life. For more information on the Bass Private School, visit bassathletics.com. Paulson Orthodontics in Redlands with Dr. Marcus Paulson. Personalized treatment you deserve from an orthodontist that you can trust. And Chick-fil-A in Yucaipa, right off the 10 freeway at Yucaipa Boulevard. Eat more chicken.
All right, so huge win for the Rams against Seattle in the NFC West. As we jump over to the AFC West, man, the Denver Broncos are the team to beat in the AFC West right now. They have won 8 in a row. They beat Kansas City 22-19 on a last-second field goal, right? You got to have a great kicker. They win it on a field goal. They've won 8 in a row, as I mentioned. Kansas City, who's won that division title 9 years in a row, in serious jeopardy of not only not winning the division title, Patrick, Kansas City might not make the playoffs this year.
Has it finally happened where they've had the crazy collapse? We just kind of assumed that he's going to go to the AFC Championship game because that's what he's always done. But even he is human.
Man, Chiefs Kingdom, right? Chiefs Kingdom might be coming to a close. I mean, are they still a dangerous team? Would anybody want to go to Kansas City and have to play them, to get into the playoffs or win a playoff game? No, I don't think so. They still have Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. I mean, they're still dangerous, but they are certainly not the same team. And again, they might not even make the playoffs, so they might not even be a factor in terms of the Super Bowl chase this year. Back to the NFC real quick, just for one more game. Eagles beat the Lions 16-9. If you're a Rams fan and a Seahawks fan like yourself, Patrick, keeping an eye on that one because those are two of the better teams in the NFC as well. And it was a big win for Philadelphia, 16-9. The Super Bowl champs flexing their muscles in this one. And our guy Jalen Phillips, the pride of Redlands East Valley High School, recently traded from the Dolphins to the Eagles, bolstering that Philly defense. He had a sack, he had 5 tackles. I think he had 4 quarterback hurries. I mean, they added Jalen Phillips to the mix. Man, Philadelphia's defense looks tough.
Yes, they do. Jalen Carter.
Yes.
Phillips. I mean, look out, man. And then they just march down the field, don't they? Everyone's complaining it's not exciting. It's like, whatever. They just march down the field. They don't need to get a zillion yards. They can just keep it moving, man. And they did it so many times. They make the tush push look so easy.
Yeah, you hold Detroit's offense to 9 points. And Jalen Hurts in that offense does just enough. In fact, the last 2 weeks, I think they've, scored like less than 20 points, but they've won each of those games. I mean, that defense and just having timely offensive drives down the field. Jalen Hurts, Devontae Smith, pick any guy on offense, or Saquon Barkley, they're not going to win the NFL MVP or win any, stats because they're not having huge years when you look at the numbers. But they just win football games. And at the end of the day, isn't that what it's about, winning football games?
They are good in that column, which is what matters.
And that's what matters, man, the W's and the titles.
Inland Sports.
Hanging out with my boy Patrick in the morning on KCal 96.7 FM every Monday and Thursday talking sports. Always love doing that, so check that out. That's KCal 96.7 FM. All right, I know we're going into the high school football semifinals, but girls flag football was a great year for our local teams, including the Roosevelt Mustangs, CIF, Southern Section, Division III champions. They had some battles during their playoff run. They beat Lucerna for the championship in D3. Congratulations to Coach Constable and her team. She's got a great program going out there. In fact, she's one of the pioneers for girls flag football, especially in our area. So happy for her and the program to get a CIF championship. We had a chance to talk to Coach and some of her star players this season, and they've got some young players coming back. I mean, Roosevelt's going to be really good for years to come as well. The program's in a really good spot. So here's the Roosevelt Mustangs girls flag football team, CIF Southern Section Division III champions on the Inland Sports Show right now.
Inland Sports.
And now join us here on the Inland Sports Show, fresh off a CIF Southern Section Division III championship. It's your Roosevelt girls flag football team. We got Coach Jennifer Constable and a couple of her star players as well for the Mustangs going all the way to win the title. And Coach, let me start with you. How rewarding was this season to get the job? I know you've had good teams, but you got the job done this season.
Yeah, we did kind of have a rough start coming out, and, we have a lot of kids who play multiple sports, so getting reacclimated to flag football early in the season was a little rough for us. Hit a little bit of snag, but we found our heart, we found it in each other, and we pulled it off, and that's really kind of speaks volumes on the perseverance of the young ladies on this program.
You know, I was going back through the schedule and digging through the scores a little bit. I know maybe the season got off to a little bit of a rough start, maybe like kind of a like you said, maybe players weren't available yet, or a learning curve on some other players. But, how rewarding was it in a sense from where the team started at the beginning of the year to obviously where it finished as a championship caliber team?
Yeah, the most rewarding part about all of that is really seeing the girls' growth. We had some players who really stood out in specific areas early in the season. And then by the end of the season, they were phenomenal in a different aspect of the program, which brought even more success to the team. So being able to have these young ladies who were able to find a way to kind of just take one for the team and really be able to adapt and really overcome the situations to build a stronger team unity amongst each other. That was the most rewarding part, is seeing each one of these girls really, really find their time to shine.
That's awesome. That's a great answer right there, Coach. Let me ask you just about that moment that the final seconds are ticking off the clock and you guys beat Lucerna for the D3 championship. What kind of emotions, what were the feelings going, the vibe, in those final seconds?
Yeah, it really came down to the last 2 minutes, and we clock management, we really worked on that all through the week and all through the season, and being able to hang on to the ball as much as possible. Those last few seconds, I kind of looked around, and mainly to these 4 young women right here, we kind of looked at each other and said, we did this, and understanding, seeing that like the true joy in their faces really, really, proved to not only me, but to the rest of the school and the rest of the community that they've had it in them the whole time.
Well, Coach, let me get to your players as well. We'll get back to you in just a moment here, but we got some of your star players, key players for that Division III championship. I'm going to start with Lotolele Sivis down there in the bottom left-hand corner. And Lotolele, congratulations on the CIF championship. When I look at your playoff run, you guys had some really close games. Like, what do you think was the difference that you guys were able to pull out those close victories?
Honestly, just like trusting each other and knowing that we're capable to finish it like all the way through. And like we have the trust built within each other throughout this whole season. I think it really like came even tighter in the playoffs due to like what was at hand.
So it sounds like when you're, lined up on the field, you can look to the player next to you on your team and like, you know what, I can trust them. They're going to make a play. I'm going to do my job. They're going to do their job. We're going to be okay. Is that safe to say, you think?
Yeah, I trust my girls 100% of the time. I could look to my right or my left and even to the girls on the sidelines and know that they're capable of coming through.
Now you play what? Quarterback, receiver, and safety. Is that correct?
I kind of just played wherever.
Wherever coach says.
Yeah, my first year I started off as quarterback, and then I moved to receiver, and then I got moved to defense, and then ever since then I've just been all over.
Do you have a favorite?
I'd probably say it's receiver, yeah. Receiver,
okay. In that championship game against Lucerna, I mean, it was pretty low scoring in terms of, flag football. Maybe in the 20s would be a high-scoring game, or 30 might be high-scoring, but I think it was, 14-12 in that championship game. So what do you think was the difference in that championship game for you guys?
Offensively, I think we just, we started off kind of rough. It wasn't really our best start, but coming towards the second half, we really clicked. We realized, what is at hand, and it just kind of came through.
You guys came through big time. That's Lotolele Sivis. Let me go to, let's see, right next to you, Peyton Wade in the bottom right-hand corner. I'm just going to make my way around. Peyton, in that championship game, you just heard Lotolele talking about, what she thought the difference was in that championship game that kind of got you guys, across the finish line, right, to win that championship. And what, in your opinion, what do you think was the main thing that you guys did well in that championship game?
I feel like we really brought up our energy towards the end more. And that's when we started scoring and making better plays. And I just feel like it was mostly our energy that really helped us win that game.
Now, Peyton, are you the quarterback of this team?
No, I'm the receiver.
You're the receiver? I guess Coach listed you as a receiver quarterback as well. So we got a couple receivers here. So offensively, when it's low scoring, do you guys, I don't want to say pressure, but do you guys feel like, hey, every possession's important, every pass is important. We got to make plays on every single play. Did you feel that pressure, or did you feel like, hey, it's going to happen, like it's going to come around, we're going to get the points?
I kind of felt the pressure, but at the same time, I didn't want to get too much in my head because I know once you get in your head, you start making more mistakes. So I just started to calm down more, knowing, like, trusting my girls. So I just had trust in them. And
now, Peyton, when you look at the season as a whole, from where you guys started to that championship game, over the course of the season, how do you think this team improved? How do you think it got better so it got to a place where it could win a championship?
at first, we didn't really have the team chemistry, but like more along the season, we started trusting each other more, like cheering each other on. Like once someone made a mistake, like another person would come pick them up. And just like a big part is the energy, though.
Mm-hmm. How important is that, just to be supportive and encouraging to your teammates? Because you know what? Things are going to get hard, right? Like things aren't always going to be easy. You're going to have some challenging games, some challenging situations. You know, why do you think it's so important just to stay, you know, upbeat and supportive and encouraging to your teammates?
Because once one of your girls gets in their head, that's really going to like affect their gameplay, and you need them on the field showing, like, doing their best they can, and you can't have them stuck in their head messing up.
All right, that's good stuff right there. Thank you so much, Peyton. Let me go to Milo Joy Sievers, top right-hand corner now. I think she's rolling deep somewhere in her car right now. But Milo, congratulations on the CIF championship. You know, like I've asked your teammates here, you know, in that championship game, it was low scoring. It was a battle. It was, you know, probably field position and controlling the football. What do you think was the key to victory in that championship?
I think that at the end, all of us really did start to communicate and trust each other with pulling flags or catching the balls. And I think that our whole team bringing each other up really like affected us and helped us win.
You know, Milo, what was the practices like leading up to the championship? So you guys went in the semifinals. You got a couple days to prepare for that championship game. Was it business as usual? Did you guys embrace the moment? Like, hey, we're playing in the finals. You know, it's bigger than just a normal game. I mean, what was kind of the message or the practices like in those couple of days leading up to the finals?
I think it really was a mix of everything. I think that we were all locked in, but I also do think that we were all having fun, realizing that we really got this far from such a rough start. And I think that we all just had fun in general.
You know, over the course of the season, it sounds like you guys really improved. You really got better. You really came together, right, as a team to make this championship run. So when you look back at this season, Milo, what's a memory that you made or something that you're going to remember when you look back on this championship season? I don't know if it's a certain play or a specific game, or maybe it was just you guys going out to eat or hanging out together. But, you know, what are you going to remember about this year's team?
I think that I'm really going to remember the girls, like especially the seniors that are leaving that I had really good connections with. I also think that just the feeling of winning that CIF championship and all coming together and all hugging each other, no matter how close we were or how separate we were, I think that really was a big part of it for me.
You know, when you won the whole thing, was it a feeling of excitement? Was it relief? I mean, what were you feeling?
I was personally feeling sad because my senior friends were leaving, but I was also feeling the relief of having all the stress off and knowing that we did our best and played our best abilities.
Yeah, it's a lot of weird emotions, right? Because you're so excited you won the championship, but you're like, man, this is our last game together. Like, you know, it's there's a lot going on, right?
Yeah.
All right, good stuff. Milo, let me go to your left on the center of the screen right now, Maddie Leyva. And Maddie, just a sophomore, right? So you won a championship your sophomore season. I guess you're going to make it a three-peat, right? By the time you're all done, is that the plan?
Yes, that is the plan.
Well, Maddie, let's talk about this year's championship first and foremost, of course. In that championship game, what do you feel like was the main, you know, difference, the key to winning that?
I think that towards the end of the season, it kind of just clicked for us as a team. We just realized that we've made it this far and we're not going to lose now. We're not going to lose, especially not for our seniors and for like our coaches that we've worked so hard for. And I think it was just us putting our like absolute 100% faith in each other to do our jobs to the best ability.
You know, Maddie, I was looking at specifically the semifinal round and the championship game, and man, those were close, low-scoring games. I mean, but you guys found a way to persevere, right, and get that win. So when you look at the semifinals and the championship game, what do you feel like was something that set you guys apart? I mean, no slight to your competition or whoever else you might have played this season, but what do you think made this team special that you guys were able to find ways to win when the games were close?
I think it was just our drive, because I know some teams definitely, when they know that the game's getting a little rocky, they start to give up. But I think it was just us pushing each other up and just being there for each other and saying, you know what, we're going to go out there, we're going to do our best, and we're going to be there for each other no matter what. And whatever happens, win or lose, we're still going to be each other's teammates, and we're still going to lift each other up. And I think it was just our connections and yeah.
Well, I think Milo brought up a great point, because it is kind of a weird, bittersweet moment, because you guys, accomplished what you set out to do and win the championship. But you probably also realize, man, this is our last game. This group, this team. I know Loto Lele, she's a senior. I mean, this is the last time we'll be together as this kind of a team. But what was kind of your emotions, your feelings when you guys were able to win the CIF title?
It was definitely surreal, because it was like, it's been a rough season, but we were able to pull through. And it was definitely a mix of emotions. I was definitely sad to see my senior friends leave, especially since our team's going to be very different next year, knowing that they're not going to be here. But it was just a mixture of excitement, sadness, and just overall happy and glad that we were able to pull through in the end.
All right, good stuff, Maddie. I appreciate it. Let me go back to Coach to wrap this up. And Coach, I mean, you won the championship this season. You've got a bunch of players, 3 of them right here, coming back next year. You must be excited about where, the status of the program right now, right?
Yeah, I mean, just across the board, we have a very large JV program, right? We've got 45 girls on JV right now, just fighting at the bit to make that varsity roster, and all of them can potentially be, good contenders for a varsity spot. We graduate 8 and still have, so we do graduate a good core, but the drive is there now. There's a bar that's been reset a little higher than we've had in the past, and the whole idea is to make sure that we either make that bar or we surpass it every time. And I think especially with our JV kids moving up, and especially with our younger leaders, like our sophomores and juniors sitting here today, it's their time to fill in those gaps where the seniors are going to, take off those cleats, and they're going to step right into them and really fill in the leadership role. And that's why they're here today, is because that's what these girls are. They're real leaders, and they're going to be able to bring this program up to where it's supposed to be for years to come.
Well, very exciting to bring home a CIF Southern Section championship. Congratulations, ladies. What a great season, and making history, too. I mean, you'll always be the first Roosevelt team, right, to win a girls flag football title, and one of the first in the IE. I mean, you guys are kind of building the legacy, right, Coach? Is that fair to say? You're setting the foundation now.
Yeah. I mean, even first year out, right? We probably had 2 girls signed to play college flag football the first year, first time in any sport for a first year out, and that's the goal, is to make sure these girls are being able to give opportunities for themselves and continue to grow as a person along the way.
All right. Well, again, congratulations on your Division III championship. That is Roosevelt girls flag football here on the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports.
Congratulations to the Mustangs on winning the CIF championship. All right, that'll do it for this edition of the Inland Sports Show. If you made it this far, make sure you're subscribed to us on the Inland Sports Show YouTube channel. Also, give this video a like, share it on social media. That'd help us out a ton as well. My name is Pep Fernandez. A big thanks to our guests, Roosevelt and Coach Galliano at San Jacinto, and good luck to all of our football teams in the semifinals. God bless you guys. Stay safe out there, and we'll see you next time on your favorite show, the Inland Sports Show. Good night.